Hi everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Max Haddad, and today I'd like to discuss if I was looking back on my life from my deathbed, what would I be proud of and what would I change? Now, this prompt that was discussed in a workshop between a bunch of people was first introduced to me by Tina Widmann. So Tina, thank you for this idea. It's a really good one. I'm sure the group that you're in was wonderful. That sounds like a really, really cool opportunity to reflect and then share with people. I'm going to approach it slightly differently. I'm going to do two versions of it. The first one is going to be what old me looking back on my life would be proud of and would change if I had never gotten sober. If my life ended the day I got to prison, let's say. I have to pick an arbitrary day that it ends, that everything remains the same after that point, whatever. And a version where I'm living the life I live now. Don't mistake me. This is not just a video where I get to compliment myself and all the growth. Oh, so many changes. I don't often think about what my life would have been like had I never changed anything. To be honest, I think after this video, I'm probably going to be more upset than proud. I was not heading in a great direction. As many of you know, if this is your first video with me, I'm a recovering drug addict, and I spent some time in prison for a pharmacy robbery. I promise I'm not going to say that every video, but I feel like I should in videos where it's pertinent. Old me, I would be proud. Looking back on the life where nothing changed. I burned the candle at both ends, died a short life, lived a short life, Jesus, and died after getting to prison. Morbid, I know. Not a very fun video. Sorry, everybody. Enjoy. There are some things that I would still be proud of. There were plenty of moments where I exhibited humanity, the good parts of it, despite having personal struggles that I never circumvented or overcame. I did show choir in high school. I know I've mentioned that before. And I was given the opportunity to move from the junior show choir to the varsity show choir. And the junior show choir was struggling. They didn't have a lot of people that were in it. They were already shorthanded. The teacher had a lot on her hands. And I was one of the older people in that group because I didn't start doing it until 10th grade as opposed to 9th grade. And I said that I didn't want to be in varsity if it meant I had to leave junior choir. And so an example of a teacher and a counselor pulling some strings for me, people that I really appreciate because they saw that I needed my scholastics, to be flexible. I wasn't going to fit in a cookie cutter approach and be happy about it. I was struggling, had already had struggles, suspensions, whatever. So they let me be in both choirs. I was proud of myself for that. Not because I got my way, but because I decided to sacrifice an opportunity I had to be able to support people that I felt loyalty to. Proud of stuff that I did when I was a kid. I had a really, really, really great friend, David Jackson, who later on I started bullying. That's not what I'm proud of. I would change that. And I apologized to him later in life, but I felt guilty about it for years. But as a kid, I got big real quick. Just one day I was a child, and the next day I was, 6 feet tall and weighed 220 or whatever. And his older brother, David's older brother, would pick on him as a group with his older brother's friends. They would gang up on David, and David was bigger than his brother, but gentle giant, extremely intelligent, extremely kind, and easily victimized simply because of his goodness. And I would fight back, there's stuff like that in my life that I would still be proud of, trying to defend the weak. And with some hindsight, knowing that there were times when I shouldn't have been so, there were times that I should have looked after myself instead of other people. Again, not tooting my own horn. I was immature. I didn't realize that I was putting the cart before the horse a lot of times, but that doesn't mean I'm not proud of those things. Stuff I wouldn't be proud of if I was looking back on the life I lived and assuming it ended poorly. It's obvious. Believe it or not, well, because me today, I don't regret the pharmacy robbery. I don't like hurting people. I'm unhappy I hurt so many people, but it's become a big catalyst for growth in my life. But assuming that growth never happened, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd regret it for a number of reasons. It basically being the reason that I botched the relationship. It's not all me, but a lot of it was, broke my parents' hearts. Here we go again. Max is in the shitter. Yeah. Other stuff I would be ashamed of, though, that I wish I could change. I wish that I had done better in school. I don't regret not going to college. It's not that, but it's that when I felt behind the 8 ball in school, when I let anxiety best me, I stayed home so long that I became so far behind. I took on this persona of the nonchalant flunky while still harboring this guilt and shame about knowing that I had potential to at least pass my classes. But it was easier to act like, nah, I don't care about it. School's for nerds, like that. And I don't think I even really missed out on learning per se, but I know that it has been a struggle to prove to myself since high school that I'm capable. And it's because when I was really challenged to prove whether I could keep up or not, I didn't. I was struggling with addiction, like I said, anxiety, depression, normal stuff that teens deal with too. And I let it crumble me, and I wish I hadn't, because I know that maybe will forever be something I struggle with. So I would regret. I said I was going to do this 2 separate ways, and they're blending. I don't mean for them to be. I regret not doing better in school. Having to learn the lesson late that overcoming something difficult is way easier than crumbling under the pressure of something difficult. Now, let's say life is as it is, which it is. Okay, I went to prison. I got out. Life shaved up. Hello, is it hairy? Shaped up. I, got my act together. I was sick of it. I was sick of feeling, sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And I, here I am. A lot of growing to do. A lot of professional things I'm unhappy with. I'm on a diet. I don't have the body I want. But stuff is so much better than if I was doomed to be the person I was when I went to prison. So stuff that I would change still. All the things I previously mentioned, of course. I would change a couple things that I did in prison. Now, I think they were growing experiences, but when asked, it's in a video, I don't remember which one, maybe the people in prison. No, my biggest prison regrets. I would change that when asked to physically punish Diesel, my friend Diesel, for talking when he should have remained silent, that I had instead defended him. I thought I was doing the right thing by slapping Diesel around more gently than a group of gang members would, but I wish that I had, even if it was foolish to do so, stood up and said, no, you're not just going to beat on Diesel. I'm not going to hit him. It's you guys versus us two. Because I bet it would have resolved differently. I bet the person asking me to hit Diesel would have went and talked his friends down. Not because I'm a big scary guy, but because he didn't want to do it either. He didn't want to be in this position. He was an older guy that was trying to stop rotating, like stop being involved in the gang, but because he was this senior member, he was pushed into being this authority figure because they didn't have anyone else to look to. I wish that I could change that. I wish that when I went to prison, I immediately broke up with my girlfriend. For her sake, so she could get on with her life, and for my sake, so I could get on with my life. The person I was going to become didn't deserve the pain he would have to go through after prison and work release due to being in this toxic relationship. I'm not angry in this moment at her about it, but it would have made things much easier adjusting back to normal life after prison. Had she not been around, had she been doing her own thing. And I could have been more available to my mom, my dad, my siblings, a couple of my friends, if I wasn't so concerned with, if I don't give her enough of my time, she's going to leave or she's going to get mad or whatever. I learned the lesson that you should value your time, use it wisely on the people that truly care about you. I learned that lesson quickly, but with her, I learned it very slowly. And if I could, I would go back and change. I would take back the time I spent with her after prison, on the phone with her during prison, spend it talking to my friend Thrasher, Diesel, studying chess, reading more. It was only heartache, really only heartache, with some sick comfort after I got to prison, talking about the relationship. And once I got to work release, the damage had already been done in the relationship. It was not going to be fixed. And there was so much more growing to do on both of our ends that it didn't matter how much of the I'm a relapsing addict dynamic I fixed and made a non-problem. There was still going to be too much baggage that both of us were carrying individually for us to come together. And it was time wasted. What I am most proud of is actually not my sobriety, believe it or not. I value my sobriety more than, I guess, almost everything, but it's not what I'm most proud of. I think what I'm most proud of is making the adjustment in how I feel about my parents. Feeling like I used to feel like they owed me. You brought me into this world, feed me, clothe me, this, that, and the other. And they still help with that stuff, okay? I mean, my mom's not spoon feeding me and my dad's not changing my diety, but they still help. I'm not saying I was like, get away, bro. But I felt entitled to it. And to their love, I felt entitled to their love, which they give unconditionally anyways. But I am most proud that I have now started to view my parents as friends and also people that I want to take care of. Not that they need me to take care of them, but as out of love. They have taken care of me even when I don't need them to, because they love me. They have tried actively at all times to make my life easier, because that's part of how they express their love for me. And only now am I starting to learn how to do that. I have learned that I want to do that, and now I'm starting to learn how. And in that change, there's a lot more encompassed. My ability to view my parents differently and see our relationship as so much more valuable and important than what I saw it as before has helped me shape the idea about who I do and do not want in my life. The love that I have for my parents is going to be unique. I'm saying that because my life isn't over. I'm going to love a lot more people, but I won't love in the same way that I love them. Probably not to the same level, but definitely not in the same way. So I'm not saying I can hold people to that standard. If I don't love you as much as my parents, well, then get out. It's like, okay, though, to see my parents as good people, not just mom and dad, but as two good people, great people, and hold others to that standard. And I don't mean, walk around with the lash correcting their behavior, but why wouldn't I want only the best people in my life as far as their ability to love, to express emotion, to care? And again, nobody else is going to show up and love me like my mom can. But the quality of their character is so enormous that I'm bad at this. I want to have more people like that in my life. I'm most proud of what I've learned about relationships. That they take work. That they're not something that you can assume will be around forever. And that it doesn't matter what people say, it matters what they do. Because I listened to words for a long time. I love you, I'll be around forever. Whoa. Gone. And in my dad's case, somebody that doesn't say a lot of things that are outwardly loving. He expresses it in every moment of every day. And so you have to, I'm proud that I've learned how to hear it, even though it's nonverbal. Wow, am I making sense? So, Tina, thank you for prompting this very unlettered video by me. I would love to hear what you guys would, you think that you're going to look back and wish you could change, and what you're already proud of. Because I know you can't know what you're going to do that you're proud of. You can only hope that you'll do some things that you'll be proud of. But I would love to hear what you're proud of yourselves for, because I know, just based on what some of you have told me, that there is a lot that you should be proud of yourselves for. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Tomorrow's video will make more sense. I'm being too hard on myself. You guys have a good day. Bye.